Gentlelady from Texas is recognized.
It is hard to follow up behind Mr. Moskowitz on any given day. But I did just kind of want to reiterate what the ranker talked about when he talked about Texas. And he mentioned that permitless carry was something that went through the Texas House. And I can remember being on the floor and seeing all the law enforcement officers coming to Austin to lobby us and make sure that we did the right thing. And they also testified and they told their stories and they talked about how dangerous it was. And for whatever reason, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, it all fell on deaf ears. And it made me wonder if Republicans really meant it when they said that they backed the blue. Because when given an opportunity to back the blue, they didn't. And today, we heard from the chairman that this is all about supporting law enforcement. And to be clear, I am going to also support this bill. But the idea that you can say on one hand, I support law enforcement, while on the other hand, I am okay with January 6ers getting out who assaulted law enforcement. If you can say I support law enforcement, yet you still continue to pass bills that are causing more deaths, not only to our precious children, but it makes it so much more dangerous. Right now, it is difficult to recruit law enforcement officers because of some of these crazy laws. A lot of law enforcement officers want to go to states that are smarter about their gun laws. So I'm just asking, again, I'm going to support this bill, but if we are going to be...
Representative Jasmine Crockett has been vocal about various issues. It's not uncommon for politicians to have differing views on law enforcement and public safety. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has criticized Republicans for not truly supporting law enforcement. She points out that while the GOP often claims to back the blue, their actions sometimes don't align with that stance. The context often involves debates over policies and support for law enforcement, especially during discussions on issues like funding and accountability.
But if we are going to be amenable enough to say that, you know what, transparency in these numbers, this is something that will be helpful for all of us to be able to evaluate, why can't we have a real conversation on what it takes to actually keep us safe in this country? That's the only thing that I'm asking for, is a real discourse, a real conversation about what does it look like to keep not only the streets in my district safe, but the streets in your district safe as well, because we as Americans should want to be safe. We as elected officials carry the responsibility of making our streets safe. So with that, I will yield.
Jasmine Crockett's comments seem to focus on the idea that simply expressing support for police isn't enough. She's likely highlighting instances where policies or actions taken by some members of the GOP may contradict their statements of support for law enforcement. This can include debates around funding, resources, or legislative actions that impact policing. The discussion often revolves around ensuring that support for police translates into tangible actions and policies that benefit law enforcement and the communities they serve. Instances where some members of the GOP have been criticized for not fully supporting police can include debates on topics like funding and accountability. For example, some GOP members have opposed certain measures to increase police funding, or have supported policies that critics argue may undermine law enforcement efforts. Additionally, there have been discussions around policies related to police reform and accountability, where some GOP members have taken positions that differ from those advocating for increased support and resources for police. These discussions often reflect broader debates on how to balance law enforcement practices with accountability and community concerns.
Before leaving the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe bell and hit the like bell. It helps the channel grow. Thank you.